Okay, now we are going to talk about setting linen on a round table. This is going to be a guest table that we're setting for dinner. First thing, I want to talk about the placement of the table. We talked about setting the legs and everything up on another training video. When we're setting the table in the room, we want to set it and put the legs all oriented the same direction so that we can ensure the tables line up correctly and there's uniformity and consistency. So here, the legs are going kind of perpendicular to the room this way, and they're all going to be the same way. So I want it nice and straight. What I also do is I use the feet and the legs to make sure that the tables are lined up correctly. For example, you can see this leg here is on this piece of wood, and I make sure the other one is on the same piece of wood. And it's the same on the back. So if I'm setting a table next to it over here, I can follow that piece of wood, put the table legs on it, and if it's the same table, it should be all set and in line with it. So we want to try and be consistent in how we set the tables. Now we're going to do the linen on the tables. Same concept with the linen. We want to be square to the table. So what I do is I come to the head of the table, and again, in the garden room, it's always going to be with the windows opposite the head. So I'm at the head of the table. I'm going to take a 90 by 90, and we're going to use the 90 by 90 on both a 72 and a 66-inch round. Okay, I'm going to open it up with the seam down. I'm going to find roughly the center, which is this fold right here. And I'm going to throw the linen out. Okay, so this is kind of the cross point, this two center lines. So I'm going to try and put that right in the center of the table. And be as even as possible, so you can kind of check. This side only has like 2 inches on that side, and you can see this one's down a little bit lower. So it's not quite folded right, but that's okay. I'm just going to pull it this way a little bit, and we are good all the way around. So that's a little bit more centered on the table. So that's going to be the bottom cloth. Then we're going to take the next cloth. Okay, so you saw I was perfectly straight. Now I'm going to come 45 degrees. Right at this point where this linen point is hanging down, that's going to be my center right now. So I'm going to open this one up. And again, what I usually do is grab a roughly equidistance from each end, find that center line, and this one can be a little more challenging because you don't want to pull the bottom cloth. Okay, so a little bit farther. It's certainly easier if you have 2 people. There we go. Looks about right there. So the center line is here, and let me just kind of straighten this out a little bit. You're going to walk around. If you need to, you can always just kind of fluff it a little bit, flap it, get some air underneath it, and then I can help you pull. You want to come back and make sure the bottom one's still smooth so there's no wrinkles underneath it. All right, now we call this 8 points because when we turn 45 degrees, each of these points should be separate from each other. They shouldn't, like this point shouldn't be right next to it. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points around the table. It will drape and cover as much as we can with the 90 by 90 on these tables. And that is the 8-point linen. Thank you very much.